What's up, guys? Welcome back to another vlog. We are taking a trip down memory lane today. I'm in Lancaster, Ohio, which is a place where I lived most of my life, or a lot of my life. Drove by my old high school, part of my old college, where I used to play high school baseball, where I used to play college baseball. Trip down memory lane. Was able to visit my dad this morning and have some breakfast with him. And if you're coming over from the previous video, you'll know that I spent the night with my in-laws. So it was great to be able to spend some time with them and get back on the road. Now we are headed to Killbuck, Ohio, which I lived in Ohio for most of my life and I've never heard of Killbuck. So yeah, and then we were heading over to Evansville, Indiana, but currently we are in Hebron, so we're just outside of Lancaster now. Went down 37, if you know where I'm at, and we are at the TA filling up before we hit the road over to Killbuck. So we are officially on the road. It is 11:30. I've been on the road now for about 40 minutes. As I mentioned, I got breakfast this morning with my dad in Lancaster and spent the night last night with the in-laws, which was awesome. It's always great to see people as I'm coming through town, especially, you know, my close family, so that was great. But we have about an hour to our pickup location of Killbuck, and with that being said, we are hauling furniture for the Amish. Now, I have a little bit of a concern, and let me tell you why. If you've been following me or you know what's going on, this is not my truck, right? So I rent from Enterprise. However, my primary truck, when I started this business, you know, they let me pick the truck because I was going to be in the truck all the time. And I chose a 2024 Mac, and that's the truck that I drive everywhere. So I put 48,000 miles on it, and the ECM, the engine control module, decided to take a shit. So I haven't had my truck for a month. It's supposed to be a week. So as my truck is still getting repaired, I now have this 2020 Freightliner, which is fine, kind of. But an issue that I have is this box. Whoever had this truck before me is loaded with holes in the entrance, like right where the door is. There's a whole bunch of holes and it leaks, and I'm supposed to be hauling furniture, so I'm hoping that anything within like 5 feet of the, or anything within 2 feet of the entrance gets wet on the floor. So I'm hoping that this is at less than 21, 22 feet and that won't be a problem. But overall, I'm just excited to get out of this truck so I can have a truck that is watertight and doesn't have all these leaks, because when I'm hauling stuff like this and it's raining outside, it creates issues. So hoping I don't have any issues here. I've already let them know, but we'll see. So I'm just going to keep on pushing here. Like I said, we have about an hour, and then we have 6 hours to Evansville from there. So this is a 400-mile journey for $700. I tried to negotiate $2 a mile as always, but as I mentioned in my last video, the market right now isn't the best. I mean, you're getting $2 a mile if you're kind of getting lucky almost. I mean, some of the guys who I mentor with and I talk to all the time, who, you know, have been doing this for years and make $30,000 a month, they haven't even been able to get $2 a mile. So right now the average is like $1.50, $1.60, and that's what this is, about $1.60 a mile. So that is currently where we stand, but we are right on 37, if you're familiar with the area, headed north up to Killbuck, Ohio. So we're gonna get picked and I'll catch you guys there. This is how you know you are heading to Amish Country. Amish Country is absolutely beautiful, it always is, but you've always got fields, you've got lots of animals, just tiny roads, and this is definitely one of those roads that are pretty damn tiny when you add whole other cars on it, but just beautiful, beautiful drive. I always like driving through Amish Country. It's always key too, when you know you're going to Amish country or a place kind of out in the middle of nowhere, it's always key to have your map data for your GPS downloaded, because God forbid you lose service. You want to be able to get to where you're trying to get without having any issues, because if you need to get out of the area you're at because you don't have service, you can't just make a right or make a left and get your way to a town, because not only are you in the middle of nowhere, but a lot of these roads don't have access for trucks to be able to get down, simply because, you know, the bridges are too tight, there's weight restrictions on the bridges, roads are too narrow, sharp curves, there's a lot of things. So when you're doing loads like this, you got to make sure that you have your GPS data downloaded, so if you do lose service, you don't have any issues. You know, being from Florida, I don't really get to see all the changing leaves and all the color. And while it's not necessarily cooler, I mean, it's about 80, but it's very muggy because of the rain. It's really nice to see all of the leaves changing on the trees. Something that my wife and I definitely miss about Ohio and the northern area. And as we are nearly there, Amish Country. So we are picked up, we are en route. One of the coolest pickups that I've ever done. Done a lot of places. This is definitely, might be the coolest. Talked to the guy there, one of the nicest guys. Talked to him for about 20 minutes. But we are in Amish Country, in the middle of nowhere, Ohio. As I mentioned, I've lived in Ohio for at least about 15 years, and I've never heard of Killbuck, Ohio in my life. There is one warehouse called Crowworks, which is where I picked up. It's the only Crowworks. It's not like, you know, multiple. This is the only one. This location supplies all of the furniture for every Starbucks across the world. The only location. How freaking cool is that? As someone who literally lives at Starbucks, it's my office, it's a place I go every single day almost, and my wife, who's obsessed with Starbucks, literally every single time we sit down at a table, that comes from Killbuck, Ohio. That is so cool. They also do Panera, they do Applebee's, they do Shake Shack, and various others. Panera is another place that my wife and I love, but I just think it is awesome. A place that you would never expect. And it's not even like they just do, oh, we do all the Starbucks on the East Coast. No, they do Starbucks all over the world, which is just, once again, just crazy. I think that is the coolest thing, as someone who loves Starbucks so much, to know that when I'm sitting at a Starbucks in LA, the table that I'm sitting at, the chairs that I'm sitting at came from Killbuck, Ohio. So we're loaded. It's only 3 pallets, although one of them is probably about 15 feet long, and we're rocking about 4,500 pounds. So no issues at all with any sort of weather issues. It's all in the front of the truck. Won't have any issues. Very easy pickup. Nicest guys ever at pickup. Talked to all the people there. Just such a great pickup. Just talking to people is always great, especially when you're on the road. But regardless, we're heading back kind of through where we just came from. We have 370 miles, about 6 hours. We should arrive by 7:15, 7 o'clock Central Time. We already filled up, obviously, before when we started, so we shouldn't need any fuel. So we'll just probably go straight through, get there, and then I'll probably start editing this video as well as the video that needs to go out from yesterday. So that's kind of the plan, but we're just gonna cruise, enjoy the drive. It's pretty cool out right now. The temperature's actually kind of dropped. It dropped down to about 69. It's gonna be raining soon, so it's gonna be a wet one. But overall, we're heading from Killbuck. We're gonna go through Louisville area and then on over to Evansville. So if you know me, you know I spent half my life in Ohio and I've spent half my life in Pittsburgh. Now, I was born in Ohio, but I consider myself from Pittsburgh, but I lived most of my adult years in Ohio before moving to Florida. Well, Pittsburgh and kind of Ohio are known for Sheetz. And if you don't know what Sheetz is, it's like a Wawa. If you're familiar with Wawa, it's very similar to Wawa. But they always have 2 for $1 hot dogs. And I haven't been able to get them because I haven't seen a Sheetz in forever. But I was just able to snag myself 2 for $1 on the hot dogs. It's also very hot. It's 79, but it's so muggy because it's been raining and humid. And I had that sweatshirt on because I'm like, oh, it's like 100 every day in Florida, so I'm probably kind of be cold. So I'll put a sweatshirt on because it's 79, soaked in sweat. So stopped, changed, got myself some hot dogs, and we have about 4.5 hours to go. So making good time, just keep on moving. We also got a load already booked for tomorrow, but I'll talk to you guys shortly about that. This is turning into a video on why I love Sheetz so much. Mind you, I don't ever get Sheetz, right? Being down in Florida, even traveling, I don't always get an opportunity to stop at Sheetz. So when I do, I do. Hence the reason, we stop for those hot dogs. So it's about an hour and a half later. Diesel here is super, super, super cheap. It's a full-on truck stop Sheetz. It's like one of the super, super nice Sheetz. It's a little over $3 a gallon. I'm like, I could probably put another 50, 60 bucks in. So I did, topped off, and then Sheetz is giving away these really, really nice hats to all truckers. I mean, this is like a $25 Richardson hat. I know because I used to sell it on my merch store. This is a super, super nice hat for free. All right, so let's talk about the load that I was able to book for tomorrow. Now, we drop in Evansville, Indiana tomorrow at 8 a.m. This load is first come, first serve from 8 to 2. Our deadhead is about 130 miles, which I always try to stay 150 or under. The last few I've been doing have been under 100. So this is about 130. So in reality, we should be at the facility by probably about 11 o'clock. When we unload at 8, if we can get out of there by 9, and then about 2 hours. So we should be there by roughly 11. So from there, it's about 20 hours. And it works out perfect because I'm going to stop and see my mom. So you guys watched yesterday's video. You saw that when I was going through Ohio, I was visiting my in-laws. Well, my mom is over in Pennsylvania. We'll be going straight through Pittsburgh. So we're going to stop. We're going to see our mom. My mom. So in all, this load is about 950 miles. Originally, when I spoke with the guy, the broker, it was like, I just turned this load down for $1,500. However, you have an amazing record with us, and I'd love to give you as high as I could possibly go, which is $1,600. Now, going in, I was at $1,700, and I've mentioned this a few times, but if you're not familiar with the market right now, $2 is kind of a top dollar, and it's almost kind of a commodity at the moment because the market is not too hot. $2, some of the best people at this game aren't even getting $2 at the moment. I know some of the guys I mentor with who do $30,000 a month, they're not even getting $2 a mile. $2 is like top dollar. I always try to start my negotiation at $2 a mile, and then obviously you'll work your way down. But with this, I was trying to be at about 1,700 because I knew with roughly 900 miles, I'd like to be around 1,800. But I also knew that with this broker, I most likely wouldn't be able to get 18. So I was going to go for 17. long story short is, once that guy was telling me, how great my record was, I told him, I said, well, listen, I said, I was at 17. You're offering me 16. Why don't we meet in the middle at 1650? And he wasn't able to do that. But I was like, all right, fine. Well, let's go 1625 then. And it's like, you took the last 30 seconds to brag to me about how good my record is. I said, that's got to be worth something, right? So I said, let's do 1625. He agreed. So we're going to be headed from, trying to think of my pickup location. Oh, it's Plainfield, Indiana. So Plainfield, Indiana to Plymouth, Massachusetts. And what I like about Massachusetts, since in the northeastern corridor, I'll be dropping Friday morning. Over the weekend, I stay busy. So since I'm dropping Friday morning, that will allow me to take a great load from Boston, the Boston area, down south, over west. I could do 1,500, 2,000 miles. And, if you can do 2,000 miles and get $2 a mile, you're getting $4,000 over the weekend. So that's kind of my thinking with this. I'm hoping that I can be able to get a load roughly 1,500 to 2,000 miles, which is my normal Friday. So if I can do that, being in Boston will give me a great chance to do that. So in all, this is about $1.65 per mile without the deadhead. When you add the deadhead, we're at about $1.50. So not incredible, not horrible, but for me, it's great because of the circumstances that I just mentioned. And I'm also really glad that I'm going to be able to see my mom. So that at the moment is why I took this load from Plainfield over to Massachusetts. With all that being said, we are currently in bumper to bumper traffic. We have about 4 hours to go. Should be expected to arrive about 8:15. So just keep on trucking. Well, guys, it is the next day, and not only is it the next day, but we are already empty. Got to move quick in this industry. Time is money, and I got up this morning, got everything done. I had a few things of paperwork to do. Didn't have time to get on the vlog because I was literally that busy. Was able to get over to my drop at 7:45 a.m. Started unloading right at 7:55 and got emptied by about 8:45. It was quite the process. Pallet jack with a super long pallet that was about 10 to 12 feet long. So we had to end up breaking down the pallet by hand. So that was a little bit of work. And then we had about 3 or 4 other pallets aside from that, which had to get unloaded and brought down to a crate. It ended up being Qdoba Mexican Eats. It was all their countertops and all their furniture, which, as I mentioned with Crowworks, is really, really cool. But with that being said, we are already en route to the next pickup because, once again, time is money. So we just left Evansville and we are on our way to Plainfield, Indiana. So if you guys want to see the vlog from Plainfield, be sure to hit the subscribe button because that's the only way that you guys are going to be able to see the next video coming from Plainfield all the way over to Plymouth, Massachusetts. But thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button. It means a lot, especially with a relatively new channel, trying to build this content and get this out for you guys. Just trying to provide a lot of insight for you guys, whether you're in a trucking business, a trucking industry, or the box truck industry specifically. The goal is to just provide tips, tricks, show you guys what I do, how I do it, and that's what life is, right? You learn, you do it together, you figure it out, and you keep pushing forward. So with that, thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. I appreciate you guys so much. The BOL has already been submitted. We are already getting paid. We'll be paid by tonight because if you don't know, that's how factoring works. As soon as you drop, submit your paperwork, get paid same day, that night. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, and remember, you create your own story.